In the 1800s, while working in the forest, loggers would often compete in contests brought on by others. It was all about mastering the lumber and putting pride on the line in exchange for respect. Since then, not much has changed. The basic tools aren't that different, and the skills are still there. But the stakes are higher. There's prize money on the line, and no one is looking to go home empty-handed. We're here this weekend at the Honda Indy Toronto for the STIHL TIMBERSPORTS Eastern Qualifiers and Canadian Championship. Anticipation is high and expectations enormous. Some will lose, some will become part of Team Canada, but only one will be crowned the Canadian champion.
We're here this weekend at the Honda Indy Toronto to celebrate the STIHL TIMBERSPORTS Canadian Championship. We got the best of the best athletes in Canada. We have the best equipment and power tools in the industry. When becoming a Canadian champion is a matter of seconds, you want to have tools that will get the job done for you.
And there you have it. There are 9 competitors. These competitors are not going to have a break today. We're going to go straight in to a heat of 4 here in the springboard event.
3, 2, 1, go!
Now, people are not sure about that log right there. A soft log, we'll call it a pumpkin. I like to call it a piece of cheddar cheese. There it is right there. There's your winning time right there. And there goes Mario Borg.
All the athletes that we have in Canada are from, starting from 15 years of age all the way to 58 years old, and he's still at the top of his game. We have our pros that have been in the sport for many, many years, and they're doing really good, and now we have the younger guys, which we also have in our rookie division, all, getting better using STIHL products.
3, 2, 1, go!
Mercier with a long deliberate stroke with a slight hang-up. Both competitors pulling a full long stroke. Look at Donald Lambert, though, on their left-hand side, is bringing home a pace unmatched by any competitor. And there it is! There's the upset Lambert!
3, 2, 1, go!
It's Dupuis, one hit against Diesel Star, and a huge reach of Diesel just skimming the banners with his axe. And I believe you may have seen the 1 and 2 time right there.
There is absolutely no joke in how dangerous the sport can be. It's not just chopping a little bit of wood. There's a lot that could go wrong, but this is why these guys are the best in what they do.
Wow, that's a fast cut. 85, wow.
At the end of the first day of the STIHL TIMBERSPORTS event at the Honda Indy Toronto, the Eastern qualifiers are complete, and this is how our athletes stacked up. As we move into the Canadian Championship, pressures are high. We'll see who comes out on top, east or west. It's the second day of the STIHL Timbersports at the Honda Indy Toronto. We've whittled down the 9 Eastern qualifiers to the 4 top guns. And we've pitted them against the top Timbersports athletes from the West Coast. Here are our athletes. The pressure is high, and it's now that we'll see the athletes' hard work and determination pay off.
Today is the final round of a 3-stage process. Basically, we had a West Coast qualifier, got our top 4. Yesterday was the East Coast qualifier, got our East Coast top 4. Today we have the top 8 in all of Canada. Only one will be remaining though. I'm going to give it advantage West Coast chopping. You have Sterling Hart and Mitch Hewitt, 2 best choppers in Canada. Advantage East Coast in the sawing division with 3 sawing events. They are fighting for a spot on the Canadian team as an individual event.
Today, the STIHL Timbersports Canadian Championship will start with the springboard discipline.
This is going to be the first event right out of the gates. This is called the springboard chop. Basically, there's an 11.5-inch log on the top of this 9-foot pole. The idea is to cut a notch down low, put your first board in, which will be a ladder to your second notch. You put your second board in, throw your axe up into the log, jump on the second board, then chop the logs. It's the competitor that does it all properly and almost doesn't race it. It's the competitor that'll win.
Up first in the springboard discipline are Western competitors Carl Bischoff and Nick Russell against Eastern competitors Cecil Starr and Donald Lambert.
Acting training. 3, 2, 1, go.
Winning time yesterday was around 1:17. These competitors are going to be looking to best that. The East Coast competitors a slight advantage. They're fresh from competing yesterday. They know how the wood is going to react. West Coast competitors so strong they chop a harder log out on the West Coast. So their technique may be just a little bit better. Boy, Carl Bischoff, a beautiful 6-hit pocket right in front of him. And it is the Godfather, Carl Bischoff, up first. And it's the 2 West Coast gentlemen with 2-hit lead right there. And here comes Cecil Starr. This man has one of the fastest swings in the business. And it is Carl Bischoff, I would say, advantage based on accuracy and years of experience. He is used to chopping these firm logs. They chop alder on the West Coast, a very stringy wood. But this East Coast aspen is shifting. They will not be able to switch their feet, so they will turn to the other side, chop backhand on their awkward side. Carl Bischoff advantage with the best board out there. We have a few boards that are just slightly sloping down the hill, which means you are losing power off of that back foot, Chad. But it's Cecil Starr making the turn early. Is it premature? He has to get the wood on the far side. Carl Bischoff with a late rival on the back side. And there it is. Cecil Starr, third up, first to finish.
In the first heat of the springboard discipline, it was Eastern competitors Cecil Starr and Donald Lambert that took first and second, with Carl Bischoff and Nick Russell following. In the second heat of the springboard discipline, we have Western competitors Sterling Hart and Mitch Hewitt against Eastern competitors Marcel Dupuis and J.P. Mercier.
Acting training. 3, 2, 1, go.
Focus on the 2 gentlemen to your left side from the West Coast. They train together. Mitch Hewitt is on that bottom board in a minimum of 4 hits, and he accomplished that feat right there. And he has broken more records. And there he is on the top board almost already. And there he's up, and the missile has been launched. Here comes Mitchell Hewitt chasing that 1:16 time. Sterling Hart right behind him. Mitchell Hewitt opening up a perfect chip. As Sterling Hart, like he has that axe on a leash, is putting it exactly where he is aiming. Mitch Hewitt already 2/3 of the way through. He's doing a patented 1-in-1 on the backside because he knows he doesn't want to chase that wood. And he's turned to the back. Sterling Hart only 2 hits behind him. Sterling possibly with the advantage with the stronger backhand, and this will be close. Mitch Hewitt driving, and there's the missile coming off, and we're going to call possibly the fastest of the day.
In the second heat of the springboard discipline, it was Western competitors Mitch Hewitt and Sterling Hart taking first and second, with Marcel Dupuis and JP Mercier rounding at third and fourth. At the end of the springboard discipline, these are our standings. Stay tuned for the remaining 5 events of the STIHL Timbersports Canadian Championship at the Honda Indy Toronto. Welcome back to the STIHL Timbersports Canadian Championship at the Honda Indy Toronto. The next discipline that the competitors will be facing off in is the underhand chop. The underhand chop simulates cutting a felled tree. The athletes stand on a horizontally positioned block and must cut through a 32-centimeter thick trunk with their axe. The block has to be chopped from both sides. The first athlete to make it through their block wins. In the first heat of the underhand chop, Western competitors Carl Bischoff and Nick Russell will compete against Eastern competitors Cecil Starr and Donald Lambert.
Athletes ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, 4 guys all in unison. The axes are free. Donald Lambert, boy, on your far side, on the right side, his axe is shifting some wood. All axemen going at about 1 hit per second. And it is going to be Cecil Starr, who took third place yesterday. Cecil took second place yesterday in the underhand chop. And he's first to turn. And he cut such a good log in the springboard. He may be using that same axe today. And it's going to be very close. Lambert driving on the far side. There's Cecil Starr. And Nick Russell right behind him.
In the first heat of the underhand chop, it was back and forth across the country, with Eastern competitors Cecil Starr and Donald Lambert in first and third, and Western competitors Nick Russell and Carl Bischoff in second and fourth. In the second heat of the underhand chop, Western competitors Sterling Hart and Mitch Hewitt will go up against Eastern competitors Marcel Dupuis and JP Mercier.
Athletes ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
Both competitors right on the gun, and it is Marcel Dupuis who has upset the West Coast Choppers in the underhand event, and he's going for a quick turn here. Boy, 3 competitors turning in unison. Mercier right behind him. Marcel Dupuis. Oh, and Marcel Dupuis broke his axe handle, had the presence of mind to pick up a second, and there's Sterling Hart, and with a fist pump.
In the second heat of the underhand chop, it was the Western competitors Sterling Hart and Mitch Hewitt sweeping the top 2 steps, with our Eastern competitors facing adversity and finding themselves in third and fourth. The next discipline that will challenge these competitors is the STIHL stock saw. In the stock saw discipline, competitors must use a STIHL MS660 to saw 2 discs of wood off a horizontal trunk. Throughout 4 intense heats, East battled West and West fought back. Each competitor went head-to-head with another, putting their STIHL chainsaw to the test.
Hands on the wood. Get set. Mirror image into the wood, Chad. Patented trademark entrance by Carl Bischoff. He is so fast in this stock saw.
Be a close one, I'm telling you, Dave. Coming up.
Oh, but it's Mercier. Oh, and a little extra weight by Mercier on your right side. That's going to be tight. That patented pressure gauge on the top. There it is. Boy, it's just the late arrival by Dupuis.
It was veteran Carl Bischoff who put down the fastest time, only slightly quicker than fellow Westerner Nick Russell and JP Mercier. The next discipline that the competitors will face is the standing block chop. This discipline requires competitors to chop through a block of wood from both sides as quickly as possible.
Athletes ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
And Mitch Hewitt coming with piles of slope for his up hit. We've just been saying he just never seems to lose his rhythm. He has a huge, monstrous swing, and now Cecil's bringing it home. He's into that log. Sterling Hart with an enormous drive. Mitch Hewitt is driving it off, and there it is, Mitch Hewitt.
It was four-time Canadian champion Mitch Hewitt who took the standing block chop discipline by storm. Fellow Western competitor Sterling Hart was hot on his heels, and Eastern competitor Marcel Dupuis did everything he could to stay with them. At the end of these four disciplines, these are our standings. Stay tuned for the remaining two events of the STIHL Timbersports Canadian Championship at the Honda Indy Toronto. Welcome back to the STIHL Timbersports Canadian Championship at the Honda Indy Toronto. Here are the Canadian Championship standings with two disciplines remaining. The next discipline that the competitors will face is the single buck. In this discipline, the competitors will use all their strength to make their way through a horizontal log with a one-man crosscut saw.
3, 2, 1, go.
And watch Donald Lambert, those first two strokes, he means business, and he is right into it. Boy, Chad, this wood looks softer, or they're just making it look softer than yesterday. Lambert, one stroke from driving that off. That is phenomenal cutting.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, Carl had a little tape stuck to his hand and said, let's get that off just in time for the start. Cecil Starr just throwing his whole body into it. He's sucking the nose of that saw all the way into the wood. This is a different gear he has picked up today. Oh, Chad, and a hang up right at the end.
3, 2, 1, go.
Well, here it goes, and Mercier is attacking that as planned. He's at about the 4-stroke mark halfway through. This is going to be very, very close. Mitch Hewitt, there's that technique, and wow, Mercier.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, and a small hang-up on your right-hand side. And look at the speed from Sterling Hart. This guy's just throwing his whole body. He's only 180 pounds, and he's just throwing his whole body to like, oh, that's a mirror image. I don't know who won that.
The Eastern competitors won 3 of the 4 heats, and this is how they stacked up. The last discipline in the STIHL Timbersports Canadian Championship is the hot saw. In this discipline, competitors bring performance-tuned, high-horsepower chainsaws to the stage with the goal of cutting 3 complete wooden discs in as short a time as possible. In the first heat of the hot saw, it will be Western competitor Nick Russell against Donald Lambert.
Hands on foot. Get set.
He wants to get those 3 cuts. All right, let's give it up for Nick Russell.
In the second heat, it will be Easterner Cecil Starr against Carl Bischoff.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Well, that was incredibly fast by Cecil Starr.
In this heat, current points leader Mitch Hewitt will face off against JP Mercier.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Wow, that was fast. JP Mercier, flat out, he was just flirting with the line.
Gentlemen, we had one good cut. That was JP. Unfortunately, Mitch cut was a little too short, small, and he didn't have a full disc. DQ.
In the final heat of the hot saw discipline, it will be Sterling Hart facing off against Marcel Dupuis.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Wow, that was fast and too clean. And I think you may be looking at, well, you might be looking at your champion right here. He's down on the ground. That's a lot of nerves right there.
The Eastern competitors swept the top 4 spots of the hot saw discipline, while Carl Bischoff and Mitch Hewitt dealt with disqualifications.
Gentlemen, 2 good cuts.
All right, there. Let's give another round of applause. Our professional women. First annual steel competition for the women. Nathan Cumberland, let's bring him up here right now with 7 points, taking 3 wins today. There he is, 18 years of age.
Congratulations, Nathan. You're a well-deserved champion. Thank you very much.
JP Mercier in the number 3 spot. Marcel Dupuis.
Let's give it up from Maple Ridge, British Columbia, Sterling Hart.
Yep, great job, Sterling. Let's make some noise.